Hello, hello.
Hello.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to Growing Strong Families Incorporated broadcast. We're excited to have you guys on tonight. When you tune in, please say hi in the comments. We would love to know that you are here. We're excited to have you tonight. Tonight
Yes.
we will be talking about leadership in the home, family leadership.
Mm.
So we're excited about this topic.
Yes.
We're excited to have this as one of our focus areas at Growing Strong Families because we know the importance of leadership in the home.
Yes.
And we know it is important for us to seek resources and improve our leadership skills and increase our capacity and just learn just to make us all better leaders. What do you think, babe?
Yeah. I mean, leadership is vital in the home. Anytime you can find a resource to improve your leadership, get into it, a book, a seminar, or what we having right now, log on. Everybody can improve on their leadership. So we're excited to have Dr. Menefee tonight, and he's going
Yeah.
to share with us some tips to help advance us in leadership at home and abroad at work.
Yes, so we're definitely excited. We will ask that you guys would share the broadcast so others will be able to hear this great information. You just never know what people will learn from. I know that it will be something shared tonight that will
Yes.
be such a blessing in the
Mhm.
lives of families. So please share the broadcast. Share it with your family, your friends. You just never know who might need it.
Yes.
And if you don't get a chance to look at it now, you can always go back and look at the replay of it. So we're excited about tonight and
Yes.
excited to hear from Dr.
Uh,
Menefee.
I'm looking forward to taking notes for myself.
Yes, I've got my notepad right here ready
Yes.
to take these notes tonight. Dr. Menefee is a awesome speaker. We worked together for a couple years, and we always get wonderful reviews on the information that he provides and his delivery. So I'm so excited about what he has to share with us tonight.
Yes.
So please go ahead and share the broadcast. Greg and I are going to take a second to share this broadcast. And we're asking that you go ahead and take a second and share the broadcast. And like I said, leave your just say hi to us so we can know that you're listening in. Also, we are taking questions. So as
Yes.
Dr. Menefee shares information tonight, if you have any questions that you would like to pose, please do so in the comments, and he will answer them. We're excited, excited, excited. We will be able to provide more resources and workshops around communication, developing shared values, with your family. Gathering around a shared vision, all the information that you would need to improve your leadership ability in the household.
Yes.
And just know that this is not just for a husband and wife family household, but we're talking about singles. We're talking about whatever your family dynamics are. It's important that we are intentional about getting
Yes.
resources and information to help us
Yes.
build strong families.
That's what we're
So
about.
we're excited.
Yes.
So let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about Dr. Menefee. Arturo Menefee has more than 15 years of professional and academic experience in leadership, community, diversity, health, workforce, and economic development. Dr. Menefee is an award-winning author,
Yes.
and he is a global fellow at the Manufacturing Diversity Institute in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He received his PhD in public policy and administration from Auburn University, War Eagle. Dr. Menefee is committed and passionate about inspiring the youth, empowering people, and building communities.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and bring up Dr. Menefee to
Yeah.
talk with us today. Hi, Dr.
Menefee,
Menefee.
welcome.
Good day, good day, good day. How are you all?
Doing
Great.
great. And thank you so much for accepting our invitation to come on tonight and be live with us and share with our community of Growing Strong Families Incorporated and anybody that's tuning in tonight and
Yes.
will tune in later and watch this broadcast.
Great. Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes. So we would like for you, we're not going to hold you back. We're going to let you go forth and just
Yes.
give us some tips that families can use to improve their leadership. Just give us, I know you have a wealth of information. So if you'll just share with us for this time, and then we'll just chime in if we have a question or if there's a question in the comment section.
Good deal. Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you. Well, the first thing I want to do, um, someone once said that if I tell you, you'll certainly forget. If I teach you, you may remember, but if I involve you, then that is how you truly learn. So
Yeah.
for everyone that's watching out there tonight, I will involve you. So get ready, get your pen, some paper, and get ready to participate. I know this is virtual, but you can still participate. Here's the first lesson of the day. This is what I want you to do. I want you to say, today is my day.
Today
Great.
is my day.
Say it again. Today is my day.
Today is my day.
And one more time. Today is my day.
Today is my day.
Yes, I want you to claim it, profess it, but don't contest it because you are the best at it. And the at it is whatever you decide to be the best at.
Mhm.
That's my positive affirmation for you today. Each and every day, when that opportunity clock, not alarm clock, when that opportunity clock goes off, that's your chance to get it right. That's your chance to make it better. And I always start my day with a positive affirmation. And so that's my positive affirmation for you today, because I know you are truly great and today is your day. And I was just thinking, you got to claim your day. You must claim your day, because if you don't claim your day, somebody else will claim the day. And I don't know about you, but I want to be in control of my day.
Yes.
So, having said that, I'm so excited tonight to talk about leadership in the family. A lot of people will talk about institutions and organizations throughout the community. They'll talk about banks, schools. They'll talk about public safety facilities, healthcare facilities. Those are all wonderful. Those are all perfect, and we need them in our society. But the strongest institution in our community is our family. It's the core of everything that we do throughout our society, community, state, government, nation, you name it. The family is the center. And so it's extremely important that we focus on what we need to do in the family, because if we can start and do right in the family, then some of these other organizations and institutions will be in a much better place as well. So it all starts with the family. So keep that in mind. It starts with the family. So first, let's just talk about leadership, just in general. I want to give you a general definition on leadership. So here's the definition. Hope you got your pens and paper out. I want you to write this one down just so we're all on the same page. So here's the definition. It's the action of leading or guiding. Leadership development, or excuse me, leadership is the action of leading or guiding an organization or group to a goal. To a goal. So it's the action of leading or guiding a group or organization to a goal. I say to a goal because that is very important. That is very important. And typically, when you're leading, yes, you are leading yourself, but you're also leading others. That's important, because if you're leading others, you need to be aware of others, and you need to know and understand the impact that you're having on that group that you're leading. So it's really important for you to understand that. So here's some of my lessons on leadership. I'm going to call them lessons on leadership. And the first one tonight we're going to focus on is belief in self. Belief in self. So let me ask you a question. How do you feel? Yes, literally, how do you feel? Do you feel good about yourself? Are you in a good mood, bad mood, had a long day at the office? How do you feel? Or better yet, how do you feel about yourself? I'm talking about your self-perception. See, someone once said to me that how you feel about yourself is a direct reflection of how others will feel about you. How you, yes, how you feel about yourself is a direct reflection on how others will feel about you. So this is what I mean by that. So if you think you can do something, you know what? You probably can do it. If you think you can't do something, You probably cannot do it. Now, why is that? That's because other people around you are picking that up. They're picking up that energy. So if you act a certain way in front of your kids or in front of family members or friends, they're picking up that energy. They can see it. Oh, you're going into a meeting. Oh, I can't do this. I'm nervous. They pick that up. They're thinking to themselves, this person can't lead this meeting. He or she is not going to be good at leading this meeting. But if you're sitting there and if you're confident and if you're walking in with your head held high, they're thinking to themselves, wow, this person is he's really juiced up for this meeting. He's really going to do a great job. And so again, how you feel about yourself is a direct reflection on how others will feel about you. So you should always feel good about yourself. Now, this is something that I want you to do. I want you to write down just five, not 6, but I want you to write down 5 descriptive words describing yourself. So write down 5 descriptive words of yourself. You can be happy, joyful, whatever you want to say about yourself. I want you to write down 5 descriptive words. I'm going to give you a moment to do that. And then I'm going to come back and tell you exactly what that means. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. Just 5 descriptive words. Some people will say 4. No, not 4. Some people will say 6. No, not 6. Just 5. And it shouldn't take too long because I'm hoping you know yourself better than anybody else, right? Hopefully. Yes. Okay, so you have your 5 descriptive words.
Yes.
If you want to display them in the comments, feel free to do so. That would be great. But what I want to tell you about those 5 descriptive words is that I'm willing to bet you that with all the people that are watching, all the people in your family, all the people at your work, all the people that you interact with on a daily basis, I'm willing to bet you that none of their answers match your answers exactly. And I'm a cheap guy, but I'm willing to bet you tonight that none of those answers match your answers. You know why? Because you are unique. You are unique.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. Crystal, Miss Crystal and Mr. Greg, did your answers match?
No.
No.
And you all are married.
That's right.
That's my point. So that's great. But what that means is that, you are uniquely qualified to do what you're doing. You are unique in terms of your talent, and you are unique in terms of your gifts. See, you only have those. No one else has those particular gifts. Now, on the job, we've always talked about replacing somebody. Well, you can replace somebody to do a job, but you can't replace somebody to do the job like I would do it. Or you can't replace someone to do the job like you would do it. They can't do it with your intellect, with your skill, with your energy, with your passion. They can't do it like you. Regardless of how many times they watch you and try to emulate you, they can't be you. And someone once said to me, be happy with yourself because everybody else is already taken. You are it. Okay? And that's for a reason. And so I want you to be confident in who you are because you are it. But you have the skills. And that's why I said it starts with self. You have to believe in self. Even before we even get to leading or talk about working with various groups or people within that group, you have to believe in yourself. If you don't think you can lead, if you don't think you can lead your family, you're not going to be able to do that. You can't do that. And so you got to first believe in yourself. Also, too, still in this same lesson, let's talk about confidence. You got to have confidence in yourself as well. You got to believe in yourself. And in doing so, you got to inspire confidence within yourself. Now, how do you do that? It's a very simple and easy way for you to do that. I want you to write down 1 or 2 difficult situations that you've been able to overcome in your life. And I don't even know you, but you know how I know you have been able to overcome something? Because you're on this call tonight. And just because I know how things work in the world, I know we've all dealt with some difficult situations. There was something a few years ago called COVID. But hey, you're still here. That's a wonderful thing. You've been able to overcome that. Most of us had some difficult times in our childhoods. We're still here. We were able to overcome that. Most of us have some difficult times in our jobs. Am I talking to anybody out there tonight, right? You are still here. You're still here, and you're still here for a reason and a purpose. So the reason why I say that is so that when difficult times come in your leadership opportunities, you will know that you can overcome them because guess what? You've already overcame difficult stuff in your life before. Very practical, but so very powerful. So
Yes.
the next time you're dealing with someone at work, or you're dealing with or having an issue in your family, you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, I can't overcome it." Well, if you're thinking that way, you probably can overcome it. But if you'll think back and have that belief in self and understand that you've already overcame a lot in your life, you'll know, "Hey, this is a problem, but I'm going to be able to overcome it as well, and everything is going to be okay." So that's the first lesson, belief in self. The second lesson is set the standards. What are your standards? And for me, I really focus on my values. And our values are simply principles that we live by. Typically, if this was in person, I would have some value cards and I would ask you to select your values. And I would take you through this process. And by the end of that process, you would have your values identified. What I realized in that particular workshop, or the workshops that I've done on values, is that most of us are unaware of our values.
Mm.
So, what are your values? I want you to think about that. And as I am speaking, I want you to jot down, what do you think some of your values are? Because those are important. And they're so important. Let me tell you why they are so important. I have a quote from Gandhi, and it's about values. And don't try to write this down. This is a lot. I will actually send this to Miss Crystal and ask her to send it out to everyone. But this is the quote from Gandhi. I just want you to listen to it. So just take it in, and I'll read it again if I need to. But it says, "Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behaviors. Hmm. Keep your
Mm.
behaviors positive because your behaviors become your habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny."
Mm.
Your values become your destiny. So to me, that says it all starts where? With your values. And so through those values, you're going to develop behaviors and habits and attitudes and all that good stuff. But
Mhm.
eventually, they determine your destiny. I don't know about you, but that's powerful to me. So if
Yes.
I can control my values, that tells me where I'm going. That tells me where I'm headed towards achieving my goals. And so that's very, very, very powerful. And I want you to understand that, because if you're not living up to your values, then guess what you must do? You
Mm.
must change your values, or you must live up to the values that you have for yourself. There's no way around that. I'm sorry, guys. There's no way around that. So you must live up to those values, or either change your values to meet what your values really are. And this is important. And now we're getting into some leadership stuff, because now we haven't even really even talked about leading, right? This is before you even start leading. You got to have belief in self. You got to set your standards. And as a parent, you must model the way. I want you to model the way for others to follow. Many people refer to this as leading by example.
Mhm.
Leading by example. Yes, when your kids are born, guess who their first influencer is in their lives? You. Yes, you. You are it. They see what you do, they see how you do it, they see how you interact, they see what you say, they see how you move. All of those things, they're taking it all in. They're taking it all in just like a sponge. And then sooner or later, you're going to see that through them. And then you're going to say, "Hey, why did you say that?" And they're going to say, "Well, Mom and Dad, I heard you say it before."
Yeah.
And then you're going to think to myself, maybe I did say that. And it'll make you think differently. And I've had that happen to with my daughter. I'll say something, and then a few days later, I hear her say something, and I'll say, "Wow, why are you thinking like that?" She said, "Well, Dad, I heard you say something about it the other day at the dinner table." So be careful, because they are watching all the time and they hear everything. Their
Yeah.
hearing is really, really, really good, and their eyesight is really good as well. So be careful with that. But I want you to model the way. You've already set your standards, but you got to model the way. And at times that could be difficult. because parents, especially single parents, I grew up with a single mom. It's difficult. Trust me. You're tired. You work hard all day. You come home. You know, your kid needs help with this. Your kid needs help with that. Your kid wants to talk about that. And sometimes you don't want to, but pull together whatever energy you have and spend time with that child, with your kids. Spend time with your wife, with your husband, because that is very valuable time. And so model the way. Model the way. That's extremely important, and it is especially important for your kids to see that. Because if they see that, then that will be a great learning lesson for them. Just like we talked about earlier, though. But on the other side, if you act as if you don't have time, if you're always stressed out, if you are always only focused on self and not necessarily putting in time with the family, they'll see that too. And you don't want that for them. So I want you to think about your actions having a significant influence on them. And so if you think that way, and if you always keep that in mind, I think that will really guide you to where you need to be in terms of being a leader in your family. The next lesson is build effective relationships. Yes, I know you're saying, I don't have to build a relationship with my child. Yes, you do. Now, you don't have to be their best friends. Like, I am not my daughter's best friend. I'm her daddy. Okay? There's a difference. There's a difference. Now, I'm gonna be there for her. I'm gonna support her, but I'm dad. Okay, and she's daughter. And those are two clearly defined roles. And so we need to make sure that we get that straight. I know back in the 90s, and I don't want to date myself here, but I know back in the 90s, all the parents tried to be best friends with their kids. Didn't work out, did it? So that's not my style anyway. And that certainly was not my mom's style when she was raising us as a single parent. She was the mom, and you knew she was the mom. Okay, no doubt about that. But she was my friend, but she was my mom first and foremost. And I like, to this day, I still like talking to my mom, go to her for advice. But even today, you know, she's still my mom, and she's still telling me what to do. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's very important. You want to build relationships with your kids, and you want to do that simply by being present. Be present in the moment. I know we're caught up on our cell phones. I know we're caught up with social media, with TV, all these streaming services. We're caught up with all of that, but be present in the moment. Right before this broadcast, my daughter came in and she asked me for some assistance with her math homework. So I got up and I walked. I had to be back on time because I didn't want Mr. Greg and Miss Crystal to get on me about that. So I had to get back on time. And they're real nice folks, and I really appreciate them. But I had to go tend to daughter because I had to go to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do for her. I will rearrange my schedule just to take my daughter to school and to be there to pick her up. Now, occasionally I am out of town, but I plan my trips around her schedule because I want to be present. Because I want people to know that if you have a problem with my daughter, you don't have a problem with her. You got a problem with dad. You got a problem with me. And she has that support. So that's what leadership is about. Leadership is about helping and supporting, and let them know that you're there for them. That's a part of leadership. Leadership is not just getting up telling folks what to do and saying, hey, follow me because I said so. No, leadership is saying, hey, I can help you. I can help guide you to that goal. And I'm also here to support you because eventually it'll be time for them to lead. And you'll want them to learn from your lesson. So that's very important. So always keep that in mind. Also, another way, we're still on relationship. A great way to develop relationships with your kids, with your family members, with your spouse, is to focus on empathy. Empathy, build empathy. And there's a couple of ways you could do it, but empathy is really all about your approach. So I'm going to read something to you. And there are two characters in this particular story. So Greg is a student, and Howard is the dad. And so I want you to just, from this quick story, see how Greg and Howard interact, okay? So Greg's getting ready to take a test, and Howard, his dad, is giving him a response. So here's the piece. So Greg states, I can't believe it's Monday, and the exam is tomorrow. I figured I could get in 3 hours of studying a night, but no way. I wish I was ready for it. And this is his dad, Howard. Howard says, well, if you organize your time and watch less TV, you wouldn't be in this mess. Now that's how Howard initially responded to him. Now this is how Greg responds, and I wonder where he got this from. Greg says, "Yeah, that's right. Climb all over me the day before my exam. That's just what I want to hear. And how do you know how much TV I watch? You're not around here often enough to know." Wow. So
Mhm.
there we go. Sounds like there's some interpersonal, some inner home issues there going on. So, but this is another approach. And listen, we have the same characters, the same situation, but just listen how your words can help build empathy and change this entire outcome. So this is great again. Here it is Monday, and I'm not ready for the exam tomorrow. I try to get in 3 hours of study a night, but there's just no way. Then Howard says, "Gee, that's too bad. Sounds like you're pretty worried about it. Do you think you'll be able to pass?" Greg says, "I don't know. I'll take a shot, but it doesn't look too good. Guess I should have used my time better." And then Howard, the dad, says, "Well, is there anything I can do? Anything you want me to do? You want me to bounce some questions off you before the exam tomorrow?" And Greg said, "Well, now that you mention it, I think that will be good. I think that will work." So you see how we had the same scenario. Well, we had two different scenarios, but the same people. And you see, just by changing your words, just by changing your approach, that builds empathy. Did you see how Greg responded in the first one? He responded as if he was upset,
Mhm.
and it made him feel as if he was doing this by himself, and his dad was not around that often. In the second example, he felt that empathy coming from his dad, and his dad offered assistance. His dad offered help, and he accepted that help, that assistance. So that's what you have to do as a leader. You have to show empathy, and by showing empathy, you will offer assistance, and hopefully others will take up. They will take you up on that advice or assistance. That'll
Mhm.
be really important. So keep that in mind. Very, very, very important. Build empathy in terms of building relationships with your family members, with your kids, with your spouses. That is paramount to establishing an effective, productive, mutually beneficial relationship. Mutually beneficial relationship. Also, too, another lesson is that I want to talk to you about investing. Invest in your relationships. Invest in your family. Yes, you want to spend time. You want to make sure you're putting forth effort. Whenever I go on a long trip and I come back, and I know my she's been holding down the house and taking care of everything. I say, hey, we're going out to eat tonight, and it's on me. Got to give her that break. Or my daughter, I haven't spent enough time with her, so I tell my wife, hey, you go shopping. Not with my credit card though, but you go shopping with your credit. No, I'm just joking. She'll say, look, my money is her money. She'll tell you that. But I say, hey, go shopping. Me and my daughter will stay here. We'll just go hang out. We love going to the bookstore. Take you a few minutes and have some time for yourself. I think that's very important. And so invest in your family, whether it be resources, financial, time, effort. Investment has to be there. And sometimes those investments might be somewhat of a risk. And let me tell you exactly what I'm referring to. My mom, single parent, she raised seven of us. Yes, seven of us, four boys, three girls by herself. My mom and dad divorced when I was 5 years old. And so she had her hands full, to say the least. She had to work three jobs to support us. And a lot of times I was into sports, basketball, I was in the band, I was doing a lot of different things. I was in all these various clubs, and I know for a fact she didn't have the money to send me to all those various things, but she put forth the time and effort to do that. And back in the day, you can't do it today, so don't try this. This will not work. So do not do this, okay? But back in the day, she would build relationships with people, and she would say, hey, if I write you a check, will you hold that check until next week when I get paid, so my son can participate in this activity? Now, she didn't know if I was going to do that activity long term or what. She didn't know if I was going to like it, but she was investing in me. She was investing in my future. She was investing in my growth, not knowing if it was going to work out for me, if it was going to benefit me, if I was going to like it or not like it. But it was something that I wanted to do, and she made it work for me based off of her financial situation at that particular time. So please do that for your kids. Your kids will really appreciate it. They may not seem like it all the time, but they will really appreciate that, and they will value that as they get older. And so that's very great to be able to do something like that. Okay, next lesson, and I'm moving on because, you know, initially I asked Crystal. I said, Crystal, can I have 7.5 hours with them? You can't stay online. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. No, I didn't ask for that because I know that would have been out of the question right off the bat. But I did used to teach 3.5 hour seminar classes. Okay, so I can go for 3.5 hours straight. So I'm not gonna do that tonight. So don't get worried. Don't turn me off just yet. Okay, stay on. We're getting close to the end. But also the next lesson is build resilience. I want you to build resilience. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, we're ready to participate again. I want you to tell me, what do you see on this sheet of paper? Take about 5 seconds. You can respond in the chat, but I just want you to tell me, what do you see on this sheet of paper? What do you see? Okay. What do we see? Now, most of you probably said you see a dot, right? Is that a fair statement? Yeah. And that is somewhat of a problem. And let me tell you why. Yes, somebody said a spot. Yeah. This is what we tend to do as humans. And so it's nothing unique to anybody. That's just kind of how we are. But most of us focus on the dot. But if you notice, the dot takes up about 2% of this paper. So 98% of this paper is free. And what do we focus on? We focus on the dot. So for all the 1 or 2 issues that you have going on in your life, you spend the majority of your time and energy focusing on those 1 or 2 issues. When there's 98% positive things going on in your life, what do you tend to do? You focus on those 1 or 2 negative things. And those 1 or 2 negative things tend to draw you down, tend to stress you out, whereas you really should be spending your time on those 98% positive things that are going on in your life. And I've done it before too. But when I learned this lesson, it changed my entire perspective on addressing certain situations. See, now, just so you know, I don't have any problems. I have eliminated that word from my vocabulary because somebody told me that when you focus on problems, you get more problems. But on the other hand, when you focus on goals, your goals specifically, you accomplish more goals. And so this is a great lesson for your kids. They're going to have some things in life to happen to them. I'm sorry to say it. I'm not trying to scare you all. That's just how life is. You're going to have 1 or 2 things that are going to happen in your life, and you're going to have to deal with them. There's no way around it. You're going to have to deal with them. You're going to have to address those issues, but don't spend 80 or 90% of your time worrying or stressing out over those issues. Focus on those other things that are going on positive in your life, because that will help you much more than focusing on those 1 or 2 issues that are going on in your life. And if you think about it, it will help you to deal with stress. I can tell you, with the pandemic, stress went up, anxiety went up, you name it, it went up. Mental health was already out there and well known, but the pandemic really highlighted that as well. Not only the physical issues that we all experience, but certainly the mental health issues as well. So, you know, mental health is real, and we must learn how to cope with stress. And so figure out a way for you to cope with stress. This will be important because as a parent, especially as a single parent, but even as a married couple, you'll still have to deal with stressful situations. That, like I said, that's just the way life is. I apologize for that. We don't control that though. So you must be able to deal with that. So how can you deal and address your stress level? So you should develop your process. Now, for my process, it may not work for you. You have to figure out a process for yourself. But when I get up in the morning, and I'll just share this with you to give you an example. When I get up in the morning, I read scripture, I pray, I do my positive affirmations, I stretch, do some push-ups, and I'm ready to take on the world. I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I also have positive messages throughout my house. I don't have any of them displayed on camera tonight, but I have positive messages displayed throughout my house. That helps. That gives me a boost. All day, every day, I'm thinking about those positive messages. I'm not worried about those 1 or 2 issues that I have going on in my office or that I saw on the internet or that I see on the news. I'm focusing on those 98% positive things that I have going on in my life. And we all should be people of gratitude. We all should be thankful because we have so much to be thankful for. Because, like I said, out of all the stuff we've been through, you are still here. You're still here. You're still standing. And so that tells me you still got a shot.
Yes.
Each and every day, I want you to write down these 2 letters for me. The letters BE, and that stands for B. Better every day. That's what I want you to do. When the opportunity clock goes off and you get up, better every day. That's your goal. I don't care if it's 1%, 5%, 10%, 0.1%, 0.10%. I just want you to be better every day. That's your goal as a parent, to be better. That's your goal as a spouse, to be better. That's your goal as a leader, to be better. To be better. And then my last lesson is to be optimistic. Be optimistic through it all. You can't see my little sign behind me, but there's a sign behind me that says smile. And it's SMILE, and that stands for stay motivated in light of everything. Just stay motivated in light of everything throughout the day. Just smile. Just smile. Stay motivated in light of everything. But research shows, and I love me some research. It shows that just by simply thinking positively and having a positive attitude, do you know that has many mental and physical health benefits? I'm going to share a few of them with you. People that have a positive attitude, guess what? They tend to live longer. I want to live longer. I don't know about you guys. They tend to live longer.
That's right.
They have lower levels of stress and distress. Um, they have less cardiovascular issues. They tend not to get sick as much, and they tend to have a happier life. And guess what? They tend to be more successful in life. I'll take it. I will take it any day of the week. I'll take it. So these are just a few things, and like I said, I don't want to go too long because once I get juiced up, Crystal will have to turn me off, and I don't want to do that. So I'll probably be the first host that she's ever just, hey, I'm sorry guys, we got to go to commercial break. But yeah, so this I just wanted to share a few leadership lessons with you tonight. Leadership is very important to me. It's a part of what I do. Work with people, families, churches, nonprofits, communities, teaching them leadership. And so it's really at the core of who I am and what I believe, and it can significantly make a difference in your life. But it really all starts with you. It starts with that mindset, having that belief in self, and understanding who you are. You can't be Superman or Superwoman and do everything, but you can do some things. And you can do a lot of things, a lot of great things, because remember, you are uniquely talented, you are uniquely qualified, and you are uniquely gifted.
Yes.
And so I just want you to remember this. And it's be the light. I want you to be the light. And I don't want to start preaching to y'all tonight now, but I keep my preacher rag on me just in case if I need to deliver a sermon. Now my mom told me, she said, boy, don't play with God. So I'm just joking. I'm just having a little fun with you all. But be the light. That's what I want for you all. I want you to be the light. Someone once said to me that in darkness, the people will focus on the light. If you're in a pitch black room and someone turns on a light, everybody will turn to that light. They will turn to you because of who you are and because of your great leadership skills. And guess what? Those leadership skills are not just to a few. They're not just destined for a few. Those leadership skills are destined for you. But it all starts here and it all starts with you.
Amen.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Menefee, whoo, I'm a positive person, but I learned some nuggets here, and I just want to speak before Crystal says something. That was awesome, and whoever is
Oh,
tuning
thank you.
in, all the listeners, that's awesome. This word is life changing if you take hold of it. I see some things that can really change your personal life just taking on the tips you gave us right here.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Uh,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've got several nuggets, and sometimes you can hear things, but then you can hear it a different way. And
mhm.
it's like hearing the voice behind the voice. What is that message speaking to you? And so I've got a lot of things here that I could use in my own life. So we thank you so much
Yes.
for doing this. Guys, if you have any questions, please add them to the comment section and we will ask Dr. Menefee. I'm gonna go ahead and if you have a little more time, I'm gonna
Sure.
go ahead and ask you a question. And I
Mhm.
just was thinking about this. Let's just give an example of a family because you talked about that you're not a friend to your children at this stage, at the stage your child is in right now. You're not cultivating that friendship, because you're in a different role. So let's say there's a family that they did make the mistake of cultivating friendship instead of the parenting role that they needed to have to instruct the child. And
Mhm.
now they're at the teenage years.
Mm.
How do you have any suggestions or tips of how you can reel in your leadership and show leadership at that point in the relationship with that child?
Yeah, great question. I think you simply have to redefine the relationship,
Mhm.
um, and if depending on how long, might make it more difficult than someone like, for instance, if someone, if they kind of had that relationship with that person for let's say a year or so, and then they realize that no, this isn't the way this should be going, but as opposed to somebody who's been doing it for 10 or 15 years, that's a little bit different dynamic, so to speak. But I think you just redefine that role and relationship by saying, hey, I we are friends, we are friendly, but I'm not necessarily your friend, because as a parent, this is my role, and my role is to provide, to instruct, to guide, to love, support, all those great things. And so within that, you know, friendship, that relationship will be there, but it's like I'm not your friend in terms of like I'm not the friend you call on the phone where you just having a good time. Now I want you to call me because we need to have that relationship, but I'm not necessarily your friend. I'm your parent. I just want you to understand that. So I think having a conversation, everything starts with communicating properly, and I think having a conversation, redefining that role, and just really serving as a mentoring figure, advising more and guiding more, I think is very helpful. I've seen this on TV, and I know you all have too. It'll be somebody will play basketball or football, and they'll be a superstar, and their parents will be there with them, and I'm glad. But it's like their parents is there, and they're kind of part of the pack. Well, no, parents should be there instructing. They should not be there participating as if we're cool. I mean, we are cool, and so by me saying about the friendship thing, that doesn't mean that my daughter and I don't like go outside and play soccer or have a great time. But even in that, I am still her parent. She is still my daughter, and it was the same way with my mom. My mom, I love talking to my mom. She loves talking to me. I go to her to this day for advice, but she will tell you, "No, I'm your mom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love our relationship, but I am your mom, and you should always listen to your mom." And so I kind of took that on in terms of my relationship with my daughter as well. So again, I don't know if that necessarily answers your question, and I don't know that there is a fix all type statement, but I will
Mhm.
say I think you got to redefine that relationship, and I think it all starts with two things: communication, and then it will take time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Good answer.
Yes.
You have a question?
I did, man. Dr. Menefee, you answered my questions.
There you go.
I mean, the thing I'm taking away from is being building a relationship, have empathy when you dealing with people. That is very vital. Not just how we listen and how we respond. That is important, even at your work, at home.
Yeah.
They can change the dynamic of the relationship by having
Yeah.
that passion and empathy for people.
Yeah. Well, and that's a really good point, Greg, because you really have to be authentic as well, and especially kids. They'll see it coming a mile away. You have to be authentic because if you're not authentic, people will pick up on that. And if you have a friend or a colleague, and if you say something, and then you say, "Oh, I know just how you feel," guess what? They may ask you, "Well, tell me about your experience. How did you overcome this experience?" But if you didn't go through that experience, you really can't answer it. So again, those words are powerful. And so like with me, I will always say, wow, I have no idea what you're going through. But as a friend or as a colleague, I'm here to support you. I'm here to help. I'm here to listen. So I think empathy is really about helping a person, building that relationship. But more importantly, I think it's about being authentic, being your authentic, great self. And because there's some things you just haven't experienced, you know, and there's some things you have experienced where you can give some advice on. But for those other things, you can just say, hey, I have no idea, but I am here to listen. I'm here to support you. And I think that will really help the relationship significantly.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that. Thank you for that. I don't know if you saw the comment that I put up, but I'll show it again just so you can see it because that's something that stuck out to me as well about when you talked about
Single parents.
Oh, okay. Well,
just
thank
having the go ahead to well, I don't think it was the invest, but was it in the invest?
The kids. Yes.
Where you building up the energy, you go ahead and and I thought, that a thought for me is that is a prayer point too. If you find yourself with a lack of energy, just that's a prayer that you go ask the Father because you do want to invest more time and energy in your kids.
Yes.
That's something for me. We work a lot of long hours, and we may not have. I mean, I had an example last night. My son said, "Mom, could you just please, meet me on the couch at this time after he took his shower last night?" And I was so tired. And I said, "Josiah, I really want to do that." But what I did was I employed someone else in the house to help me out. I asked my older son and I said, "Please, will you just take this time to meet Josiah on the couch and do this for Mom?" And then because I wanted it to be done. And I was so glad for that lifeline from my oldest son saying yes, that he would do it for me.
Great point. I could not have said it better. When I was younger, I was playing basketball. Now, remember, I told you my mom had 7 kids. So there were 7 of us, and we were all in different stuff. And she worked 3 jobs to support us. And so when I would have my basketball games, she could never come to my basketball games because she was always working. She was working 3 jobs, literally almost like around the clock. She'd come home, go to sleep for a few hours, get up, go to another one, go home, go to sleep, get up, go to another one. So she was always working. And so as a child, I was always a little heartbroken that she couldn't come to my games. But she sent my oldest sister, to my games. And so I was just so happy to have someone there from my family to see me playing basketball because at the time, and Greg, you probably feel this way as well. I was going to the NBA. Okay. So I wanted her to be there at the beginning so she could see me grow and develop. But we also, I want to talk about seasons. We kind of always go through seasons. And so she wasn't able to be there then, but guess what? The very next year or so, she got a better job. So she didn't have to work 3 jobs. And by that time I had stopped playing basketball because I hurt my knee, but I was in the band. But she came to every one of my performances after that, every one of my performances. And so even though you couldn't make that time, you did the right thing by asking another older child to be there. Because again, as a leader, you can't do everything. You need support. The leader can't do it all by himself or herself. So you need support. So you ask the person to assist and to help, which was great. And then when you have time, and I know you will clear up some time, you will certainly be there. And that's exactly what my mom did for me. And it made all the difference.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's great.
Well, we thank you so much for taking your time and your resources and sharing with our community and our audience. I hope that everyone has learned a lot, just like Greg and I have tonight, because we are about learning together and building a positive legacy. So that's what we're doing with Growing Strong Families. So thank you again, Dr. Menefee, and we'll go ahead and close. Oh, we do have a question. Let me just share. If you okay with taking one more question?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm trying to read it. Okay, I see it. How do I balance empathy? Is that the question? Yeah. Well, as I was stating earlier, it's really all a balancing act, right? It takes time. You want to build those relationships, and unfortunately, and this is not your kids, because you got to deal with your kids. Okay, there's some relationships where things just aren't going to work out, unfortunately, and you'll have to make that decision. You can offer empathy and you can try to build that relationship, but the relationship itself just simply may not work out. I always tell people that you should be involved in beneficial relationships, mutually beneficial relationships. And so I don't know about you, but if you've ever been in a relationship where you did all the calling, you did all the emailing, whenever you all were planning an event, you did all the planning. It felt like you were doing everything. And so that's probably an unhealthy relationship. And so instead of offering more empathy and staying in an unhealthy relationship, it's probably best, unfortunately, that you let that relationship go, because that's too much of a strain on you. And so you want to be in mutually beneficial relationships. And yeah, just try to balance your empathy out. Do what you feel is enough. And I don't know what's enough for you, but by if you look at the example, simply by changing your approach, speaking to someone a certain way, calling to check on them, asking them about their day. It's the simple things that really matter, and being there for that person when they really need you, especially in difficult times. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, but we're all going to go through some difficult moments, and we're going to need a friend. We're going to need a spouse. We're going to need a kid to talk to. Our children, we can talk to them, and that's going to help. And it's okay to be vulnerable. A lot of times, especially as men, we feel like we got to be big and macho all the time and have all the answers. Guess what? We don't always have all the answers. I can tell you several years ago, and I know I'm running late here, but I can tell you several years ago, my dad suffered a heart attack and a stroke. He had never really been involved in my life. And I went to my mom. I said, Mom, what do you think I should do? Should I take him in and help him out? My mom said, you can do whatever you want to do. I know you and your dad really don't have a great relationship, but I'm going to, I raised you to do the right thing. I'm going to let you make this decision on your own. And whatever your decision is, I'm going to support you in your decision. And so I decided to take that on and to help my dad. And it was stressful. And in doing various things, I had no idea. I didn't know, trust me, I didn't know my left from my right at that particular time. I was just trying to get by and do the best I can. He didn't have insurance, he didn't have housing, no clothing, no job, nothing. And I literally just had to figure it out. And that took a lot of prayer. That took a lot of prayer. That took a lot of prayer. I mean, you name it. It took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of research on my behalf. It took me reaching out to folks. And every time I would call some individuals, they would say, I don't know. I don't know. I never had to deal with anything like that. And I didn't know either. And I felt like I should have had the answers, but I just didn't. And so you're not always going to have the answers. But like I said, you can figure it out because you are the light. And so that led me to where I needed to be. And I found the resources, I found the things that I needed to utilize to help him out. And it all worked out now. And he's doing fine now. And still gets on my nerves. Don't tell him I said that, but he's doing much better now. And he's doing much better simply, because we were able to figure some things out for him. And that was a great benefit to him, but also to us, because it really helped shape our relationship, because we really didn't have one before then, because he left when I was 5. And so that was many years later after that when he came back into my life.
Well, Chris, Dr. Menefee, we enjoyed you. You got to come back. Somehow we
Yes.
got to get you back here. And
Thank
I
you.
don't know about Dr. Menefee. I like to pray before we leave.
Sure.
I think that'll be appropriate.
Mhm.
And
Before we get, I do want to say that we're
okay.
looking to have a 1 day, half day workshop coming up in November, but we'll be giving more information out. So we may need to talk with you a little bit, Dr. Menefee, about that. So
Okay.
that'll be coming up for Growing Strong Families. So y'all be on the lookout for that.
Yep.
So I'm ready for prayer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for this opportunity, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for bringing Dr. Menefee here to minister or to talk to us, Lord, some great things to improve our lives. So, Father, I ask you, Lord, to watch over him and everyone that participated in the live tonight, Lord. I pray that your hand to be upon them, your spirit to be upon them, Lord. And, Lord, whatever difficulty they're going through right now, Lord, you bless them and give them wisdom and knowledge how to handle those results. So, Father, we would like to just thank you and give you praise for this time. And we give you glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 All
Beautiful
right.
way to close it.
All right, guys, have a nice, great night. Share this live so others can hear this great information that
Yes.
you were provided tonight.
Yes.
Good night.